regional lead for Pakistan. We are having another MCT regional lead with us from Pakistan, Mr. Usman Lodhi, who is organizing this virtual lab summit. As you can see on the screen, this is our first session of the series, Virtual Lab Hours. These are basically, let me switch the slide. As you can see on the screen, these are basically 3 series of sessions from the different lab providers that would be conducted on the given dates and times, as you can see. So if you have not registered for the rest of the 2 sessions so far, please go to your email ID, which is linked to your MCT profile, and register for those sessions too. Virtual labs are part of your MCT program benefits. Through these labs, the MCTs can master the practical skills in the real-world labs environment to improve their instruction skills and adding values to their classroom experience. So the purpose is to get well prepared to prepare your students for future Microsoft roles. Okay, next slide. So this is the agenda. As you can see, the agenda for this session 1, it will explain how to register for the xtremelabs being an MCT, then the overview of xtremelabs, how the labs can help you in preparing for your upcoming training. And at the end, we're gonna have a question and answer session. Okay, so we have our speaker with us, who is Mr. Mori Ghazavi. He is Chief Training Officer and Director of Market Development in the xtremelabs. We very warm welcome everyone who is in this session, being audience, and we very warm welcome our speaker, Mr. Mori. So over to Mr. Mori, please.
Thank you, Gulnaz. Thank you, Osman, for inviting me today. Welcome everyone to the session. We are very excited to provide you as much information as possible. As I always say in these sessions, there's definitely not going to be enough time to cover everything, but at least it's an introduction to have us present you with a variety of thoughts and, of course, a demo, so you have an idea what we are able to provide to the MCT community specifically, right? So just general thoughts. Of course, with me is my colleague and my smarter partner, Sana. She will help me present a variety of thoughts to you. So number 1, a little background on myself. I've been in the IT training world for 27 years. I will not want to do anything else. This is my passion to support Microsoft programs, MCTs worldwide. We have MCTs all over the world, and we want to continue to always provide them with support. Couple of things. One is xtremelabs is in a position, number 1, to provide the digital training hands-on labs, because we are what they call an ALH, authorized lab hoster, but also we are the manager for the Microsoft MCT readiness program. What does that mean? That means as an MCT, part of your benefits is that you have access to the MCT portal, and in the portal you have a variety of assets that are available to you, and a part of that is content, PowerPoint slide for the instructor, what have you, but also the Microsoft labs. So that's absolutely critical that you are aware. For those of you who feel that I'm going too fast, because this hour will definitely fly by, we'll do our best to provide you the information. That said, at the end, our contact information is available. We can set up individual sessions. Please feel free to reach out to us, because our job is to support the MCT community from A to Z to the best of our ability. Without you, we don't have a program, so we're always happy to receive inquiries from the MCT community anywhere in the world. All right, let's get into the MCT program, Sana.
Thank
Sana,
you, Murray.
all right, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. This is Sana Ahmed from xtremelabs. I'm working at xtremelabs as a faculty outreach advisor, and also I'm an Microsoft certified trainer, MCT. Today, I will be talking about live lab demo and as well as the MCT benefits, which comes as part of the MCT program, and like how xtremelabs support the MCT community. And also I will be talking about some of the new changes which Microsoft has done and which Microsoft has announced in the last couple of months, starting from May. So I will be going over those points. It seems like I have to reshare again. 1 second. Okay, so the agenda looks like this. I will not be going to the full screen mode because I have to share multiple screens and I have to do the demo as well. So this is how the agenda looks like. I will start with the Microsoft readiness program and labs benefit, which are part of the Microsoft certified trainer program. When somebody becomes a Microsoft certified trainer, they get several different kinds of benefits, which includes tools and discounts and some kinds of support. And also it includes the labs, the virtual labs provided by xtremelabs, which they can use for their training preparations and the classroom trainings. Like before the actual classroom, they can train themselves by using our labs, or also they can use our labs to have to get ready for some of the certifications. Our labs gives them a hands-on approach and hands-on experience to test and discover the technologies. And these benefits, benefits can be read in details on this particular PDF document, and it's on the MCT Central page under the program benefits and tool. If you can see on the far right side, it's there when somebody Microsoft certified trainers clicks on this page, they get a full view of how the benefits looks like. And now I will talk briefly about the lab benefits which the MCTs gets while they are onboarded and they start their MCT journey. So these labs benefits includes the virtual machines, the VMs, the lab steps, and also different kinds of tools which are helpful when MCTs are training and they are in their classrooms. So our labs gives them a handful of experience before they are in any kind of classroom. It trains them well, and also it makes them able to attempt different kind of certification exams. Our labs are added, our lab catalog is updated every week as Microsoft introduces a new course as an authorized lab hoster. xtremelabs has to add the newer or the latest course labs into its catalog, so that also becomes available to the MCTs as part of the active mock and the instructor-led courseware. And also, if you have any questions about how to train and how to get access, if you have not logged into xtremelabs portal as part of your MCT program benefit, you can definitely reach out to our support team. Our support team works 24/7 to provide access and provide technical support to our MCT community and also all the other users. And as part of the lab prep benefits, we have several different kinds of tools and several different kinds of resources within the lab environments, which are also available to the MCT community. as part of their benefits. Say we have Microsoft 365 tenants, we have some dynamic licenses within the labs, and also the Azure Cloud Express Pass. It is called CEP, and this is fully managed and maintained by xtremelabs, which means that we are responsible for providing Azure resources to our MCT community when they launch any Azure lab or any other technology, like any other 365 labs. So they get those credentials while they are in the lab, and they can easily get this subscription, and they can use those resources freely. As in some of the countries, in some of the areas, the Azure resources are blocked. The users cannot use them widely, and there are some kind of restrictions and limitations on that usage. So xtremelab has done this, and they have provided the CEP version, which works without any kind of restriction, like the any regional restrictions or any sort of technical issues. So xtremelabs provide the CEP, and also this is how the MCTs gets access to our lab portal. This is the link which is accessible by the MCTs, and they can register their account, and they can add their email address which they have used for their MCT program, and also they can enter their MCT ID as xtremelabs database is linked to the Microsoft database. So we validate the credentials and then give access to MCTs, all the labs, all the Microsoft labs which are part of their benefits. And also here is a detailed step-by-step process about how to get access, and also we have the readiness user guide for our MCTs. They can download these guides from our portal, and they can go over different kind of options and where they need help. And also xtremelab has a YouTube channel where we have published different kind of videos so that our users have our users do not face any kind of difficulty if our users are students, instructors, MCTs, or administrators. We have different kind of videos for them as well. And as part of the second part of this session, I will talk about the MS Learn changes and the API integration which xtremelabs has done. And we have rolled out some pilot testing program and some features which are now available to our users. And also we are in discussion with our learning partners and our MCTs about how we can improve those features as well. But these changes have been live on our platform.
1 second, please. 1 second, Sana. Before we jump into this second section, does anybody have any questions at this point about the MCT access? I know that Mr. Osman just shared the link, so you can have that. Like I said before, you're more than welcome to reach out to us because as you see, there's a lot of good details, very beneficial to all the MCTs, for those who have been an MCT for years, but especially for the new MCTs that are still trying to figure out what kind of benefits you are to receive. There are truly a lot of benefits. One thing I want to emphasize, that the labs that you get access to through the MCT portal are specifically for basically self-development, self-improvement, self-learning, not to be used in a live classroom with your students, okay? Just to be clear, all right? So when you want to run a class, you'll have to actually buy the labs for the classes, right? The ones you're going to teach. But for the ones you are learning on your own, for self-development, you're preparing for an exam, definitely please use the labs for your benefit. Thank you, Sana. Proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Murray. I will talk briefly about the MS Learn changes. As many of you might be aware of these changes, which were discussed in the Microsoft partner call on May 4. And we as an authorized lab hoster have to comply with the Microsoft changes and integrate them in our lab portal. As Microsoft is changing the future of ILT and they are refining their their strategies of how the ILT will be functioning in this year and also in the couple of next years. So they have moved the ILT content from the gated environment, which is the skill pipe environment, and they are transitioning that content from skill pipe to the MS Learn environment, which is an ungated environment. The MS Learn environment is openly available, and like there is no restriction for its users, like it is publicly available and all the users can access that content. So Microsoft has moved skill pipe content to the MS Learn to facilitate the learners worldwide, and this is something which is foremost important for our learning partners and as well as MCTs who have to give access of ILT courseware or content to their students and as well as instructors. So it is very important for our learning partners and as well as MCTs to know what is happening and what is expected to happen and how xtremelabs is embracing these changes into our portal and also in our lab environment, and how we are having a seamless transition from skill pipe to the MS Learn environment. So the basic thing about the MS Learn is that all the students and the instructors need some licenses to access the content before the start of their class, so that they can have it during the duration of their classroom. But the MS Learn content does not need, as I told earlier, that it is an open platform which is accessible by any browser, so they can access it without any kind of licenses. So what Microsoft is doing, they are asking their learning partners to use their MPN ID so that they can associate their student content usage to their KPIs, and so that they can earn the Microsoft Learn. So this is how the changes are being done so far, and xtremelabs is gladly integrating all these changes into its platform without any kind of additional infrastructure investment or cost. We are managing all these changes and we are providing these services to our learning partners and as well as our MCTs who have to teach several classes and who needs to integrate the MS Learn content in their classrooms. So what xtremelabs needs from our learning partner is that they should provide us with their MPN ID so we can generate a custom link for them, which they can assign to their students so that they can track their usage and link it to their KPIs. So for most of our learning partners and Microsoft certified trainers, we already have their MPN IDs because they purchase their courseware from Arvato, and we already have that in our system. But for those like which we do not have their MPN IDs, we are encouraging them to send that to us before they want to use these MS Learn integration, so that they can track it in a more managed way, and that can be tracked, and so that their students are not accessing the content without having their MPN IDs, like no tracking data and nothing else. So this is very an important thing for our learning partners and as well as MCTs to know about. Do you have any questions so far?
Let's jump into the
yes,
demo,
Maury.
just because I see the clock is running fast. Let's jump in the demo and we'll try to address as many questions at the end. Thank you.
Sure. So now I will share my screen and I will give a demo of our lab environment. Share my screen. So this is how xtremelabs portal looks like when somebody tries to log in and they want to access the lab. If you already have an account xtremelabs portal, you can just add your email address and your password, and then you can just log in. Or if you have not, if you are a new user and you have not an account already at xtremelabs portal, you can register it, or you can sign in with your Google, LinkedIn, or Microsoft account. So I will just click on login and show all of you how the lab environment and the lab portal looks like. For those who are already familiar with our lab portal, this is how our lab portal looks like. We have different labs on the left side, a list of different kind of labs, and then we have some different kind of options, and so which includes view labs, access code, history, and manage classroom. The very first three pages or options are available to the students, and you all as an MCT, you must be having these three pages already into your accounts, but the managed classroom feature is only available to the instructors who are part of a classroom, and also the administrators who are managing those classrooms. So this is what I will be talking about in more detail. First, I will cover the student view. So this is how the different lab tiles looks like. So before the MS Learn changes, we had these white tiles which corresponds to the different lab modules. It has the different kind of titles and also the lab duration and the status. And so the difference here is this lab tile or the content tile, which is part of our MS Learn integration. As I clicked on Go to Lesson, it will take me to the MS Learn's landing page. So Microsoft wants its users to land to this page when they access the content of a specific course. So for instance, I have clicked on the AZ104 content link, and so this is how the page looks like. And so I want you all to give attention to this URL, and there is this MPN ID in the end of this URL. So this is what I was talking about. All of our learning partners and MCTs will be having these unique links so that they can track their student progress to the to their KPIs. So in this case, this is the MPN ID of xtremelabs. So this way if we were a learning partner, we would track the our users progress due to this MPN ID and the embedded link. So this is very important for us to get the latest or the authentic MPN ID from our learning partners and MCT, so we can embed them in this MS Learn integration thing. So I will just close this, and I will launch this lab module and click on continue to show the lab environment. And I will talk briefly about different kinds of features as we have limited time to cover everything today. But definitely you all can reach out to us at any time. Mori can share his email address in the chat, so you can reach out to us if in case you have any question and anything which we were not able to cover in this hour. So the lab has been launched. So this is how the lab environment looks like. It has a VM window or the workstation on the right side, and then we have the lab steps overlay or the lab pane on the left side, which has different controls. I will just log in to the portal. I just clicked on the password and it got pasted within the VM, and it will just take some time, just like the local devices. So this is how the lab environment looks like. It is a sandbox environment, like our users do not have any restriction for accessing any internet or any web page if they want to access, or they can use any software within the VM without any kind of restrictions. So you can see that this is how it looks like. So I will talk about some VM operations. Here we have different controls like alt control, alt delete. For some of our labs, this tab needs to be clicked on due to the requirement of that specific lab, because if somebody clicks on their local device, these buttons from their local computer's keyboard, they cannot do that because the VM will not be affected at all. So they have to use these controls. And also we have some paste content features, some restart VM thing, and reconnect, and some accessibility features for those who have some visual impairments and they want to use these features, so they can invoke their narrator. And also for the demo purpose, I will click on this take screenshot to show how that looks like. As I clicked on the take screenshot button, it captured a screenshot in the footer, and this is how it looks like. This is really helpful for our users to have this functionality within the lab environment, so they can use these screenshots with their instructors and as well as with our lab technical support team, so that as every one of us know that a picture is worth 1,000 words. So that is really helpful in case the student or the other users wants to get help with their instructor, or they want to reach out to our support team with these screenshots. And also if they want to if they want to have these screenshots, so they can look over to them again when they are revising or when they are practicing at their own. So these are quite helpful things in our lab environment. And also our lab support team can be approached via this little support chat on the below corner on the right side. This is the most quick and the easy way to contact our support team, and our support team works 24/7 as I already mentioned. And the second way to contact our support team is this, through this footer. There is this support link, and users needs to click on contact us page, and they will be directed towards a detailed form which needs to be filled by the user. They can fill any information which is required, and then they can also attach the most recent screenshot which they captured. So our support team can look at the screenshot, and as well as they can help them students by launching their particular lab session. And also we have the email address and also the phone number for our lab support team in case users wants to email us or call us. So, and also this instance ID is very important in the lab environment, because this is unique for each user, and it helps our technical support team to get into the individual user session. So this is important to remember while contacting our support team. And also we have this little support classroom chat on the far right side. This classroom chat is between the instructor and the student. So I'm just dropping a message here. Hi, I am a student, and this will be sent to the instructor and as well as the other students in the lab. So this is it about the lab environment. I will just briefly talk about the lab information tab. It contains all the possible details of the classroom, and also as I talked earlier about the CEP, which is maintained and managed by xtremelabs. As the user clicks on this CEP, the credentials gets retrieved from our system. You can see that these credentials are unique for each user, and users can use these credentials to use Azure resources and get the subscription. And it contains some information like the instructor name. For this particular class, there are 2 different instructors, and there are some meeting links and some cloud file sharing app in case you as an instructor wants to share some resources with your students which cannot be shared in a chat or with any other source, and you want to have all the resources integrated in the lab environment, so you can do that. As I clicked on the link of OneDrive, it took me to a different page, and it will show the resources which have been shared by the instructor. And also there is this user guide. This user guide is in a PDF document. As I clicked on it, it appeared in a different browser. This PDF document can be downloaded by the students so that they can have a look at it when they are using the lab for the very first time. And also these are the MS Learn content links within this particular lab modules. As I clicked on the very first link, it took me to the MS Learn site, and this particular MS Learn page or the resource is specific to this module, and this can be done module wise. And also there are different kind of knowledge checks. If the students have to attempt these knowledge check before starting their lab, they can do that, and they can report to their instructor. And also there are different kind of branding things. Branding like you as a learning partner or MCT, individual MCT, or as a freelancer MCT, you can have a logo within the lab environment. And also there is this footer which says a tagline. This training session is brought to you by Excel Tech Partner and powered by xtremelabs. So this can also be done. I will show how this is done. I will just end this lab session and get back to the instructor and admin features real quick. While this lab is closing, you all can drop your questions in the chat, and Mori and I will try our best to address your questions.
Well, thank you very much, Sana, for this wonderful information. We have a few questions from our audience.
Sure.
The first question is, do we need to have our own Azure account for lab hosting, like Azure Slice?
Well, for that is not the requirement. You can use the credentials which I showed, the CEP. So when a user starts using these Azure resources, they need to use our specific username and then the password, which I showed in the lab environment. Okay. So no need to have, no need to have individual accounts or individual resources. That is fully managed by xtremelabs.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so there's another question. Do these labs require to activate subscriptions? Like this is the same you have already answered.
Yes.
So we have another question.
Yes. Yeah. As part of our Cloud Express Pass, all the users get the subscription of that particular resource. For instance, in this case, it was for Azure. They have gotten the Azure subscription. They do not need to bring their own credentials with them. Did I answer your question, Gulnaz?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, we have another question. Where can I get the access course for the labs?
Yes, so this is a very good question. Like if you are a Microsoft, if that person who is asking this question is an individual user or an MCT who is trying to teach a class, they can contact our sales team. Mori can provide the email address of our sales team, and they can contact us. And there are a few different ways like how the user can purchase the lab, and like the very first method is like we xtremelabs team will provide them individual access codes, and the other way is to purchase the lab access from the courseware marketplace. And then the third one, or the most seamless process, is to get the access codes from store.xtremelabs.io. We xtremelabs have a store, purchasing store, where the users can come and they can purchase any lab which they need on their own by using their credit card.
Okay. There's another question.
Okay.
Can the labs be customized by any MCT for a custom training?
Yes, this is a very good question. We have a large base of users who have come to us to customize their labs, and we do that I think 10 times in a month. So we ask them for some specific information, like we give them a lab manifesto and they fill that with their requirement, and they have direct communication with our lab development team, and they get the lab as per their requirement by providing the information. So we do that also.
Okay. Okay, so another question is, what is the term CEP, as I have found with some of the courses?
Yes, the CEP stands for Cloud Express Pass. As I already mentioned, that it is a cloud resource for specifically designed and managed by xtremelabs, and which comes as part of our lab environment, and it gives subscription to the user to use several different kind of resources, for instance Azure resources and Microsoft 365 resources. So they really do not need to bring their own credentials. CEP does that job.
Okay. So another question is, in a specific lab, how to switch the machines?
Yes, if there is a lab which has several different kind of VMs, the users can do that. I can show also in this lab environment. As like most of our labs consist of like several different kind of lab modules, and also different kind of, like each module consists of different VMs. So that is a really seamless process. Like the users can switch between different VMs. Let me launch this any lab module, and I will see if it has different VMs or not. So it really depends on the type of lab which a user is using. If that particular lab has different VMs, then they can do that. And if it just if the lab module just run on one or single VM, then they cannot switch, as that is not the requirement of the lab instructions. Whenever labs are loading, the users, in order to have something fun while they are waiting, we have some fun facts on the screen as well.
So
the lab takes a few minutes to load because it has VMs which needs to be loaded on the system before a user access them. Yeah.
for example, there is a lab where you have multiple machines, like virtual
Yes.
machines. So how would
Yes.
the question what I am getting from the question
Mhm.
is, the audience is asking about how would they be switching the lab while doing a
Yes.
specific like a lab thing
Yeah.
from one
So
machine to another machine.
yes, they can just simply click on this virtual machine drop down menu from here, and if there were some other VMs, So they can just click on that particular VM and they can get into that. So in this case, this particular lab module just have one VM. So
Okay.
that
So
is done in a very seamless
go
process.
to another question? Should we go to
Yes,
the
yes,
another
please.
question? Okay, sure.
Yes.
So there's another question. While working on an AZ104 lab, I cannot
Okay.
see any lab regarding the network security groups and AD Connect. So does your platform is synchronized with the Microsoft Learn platform? Like what I'm getting from the question is your curriculum updates according to the Microsoft Learn platform? Because this person is asking about the AZ104 modules, and he or she didn't get any lab regarding the network security group and AD Connect. So can you elaborate that where they can go to get those labs?
Yes, Gulnaz, our lab platform is fully integrated and updated with the Microsoft changes.
Okay.
Let me click on the AZ104 CEP lab, and let's go over different lab modules which the attendee is asking about. So there are 11 lab modules for AZ104 lab. And all of these lab modules are synchronized and linked with the Microsoft courseware and the MS Learn side. Did you ask about networking thing and
I think the
AD?
person is not getting any labs regarding the network security group in AZ104, and also
Okay.
regarding, I think, AD Connect, and
Okay.
they are asking regarding the specific lab on these topics. So what I'm getting from the question.
Okay, so if that is the case, then they can reach out to us and we can customize the lab for them, and they will provide us the instructions and as well as the resources which they want to have within the VM. We can do that, but as part of Microsoft, this particular course, we cannot have anything else from our side, because these courses or these labs are generally available. So for that particular customization, that lab will only be available to that user as per their request, and they will have everything they need for their classroom. But our labs are fully managed and fully integrated with the Microsoft, because as an authorized lab hoster, we have to do that by default, and we updates the labs according to the GitHub updates and the other information we get from Microsoft. Did I answer the question, Gulnaz?
Yeah, up to some extent.
Okay.
I'm feeling okay.
Okay.
So another question is, will we have MOS, Microsoft Office Specialist labs anytime soon?
Marie, do you have an answer?
Yeah, I saw
regarding
that question. The answer is we don't see a lot of demand for MOS labs. However, I did answer the question. If they have a specific one, maybe we can work directly with that instructor and create, let's say if they want Excel or what have you, we can create it for them.
Okay, fine. Another question is, do you have labs for Microsoft 365 tenant to another tenant migration? I think Mori, you can answer this question.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they are asking for the labs regarding Microsoft 365 tenant to another tenant migration. There's something asking about some lab.
Yes, the answer is yes. I think that because time is getting short, and I think I see 3-4 questions, is perhaps share with them my email address and Sana's email address, and we'll definitely address them accordingly and give them time. And
sure.
Specifically the AZ104 question, there are rights that are given by Microsoft, but at the same time, there are restrictions as to what the students are allowed to have access to, as not to continuously use the Azure subscription. So we'll provide that specific person with a longer answer as to why the AZ-104 has less labs provided to the users.
Okay, fine. So another question is, in some courses, CEP does not allow students to perform all steps. How to overcome these situations?
Correct. Yeah. So the CEP, and by the way, the future of labs, and specifically Azure, we are hearing more and more that Microsoft, with time, will no longer provide Azure subscription. It's going to rely on the Microsoft authorized lab hosters like xtremelabs to provide the actual subscription. That said, just because Microsoft said, okay, the Microsoft authorized lab hosters go ahead and provide them, doesn't mean that they're going to allow full access to the lab, because that accessibility belongs to Microsoft first and foremost.
Wait a minute. How many times a student can run a lab, and how many days lab access is valid? For example, AZ-104.
So
How
they
many
can use the
times?
lab. Yeah, they can use the lab up to 180 days. However, the save function basically works only the first in the first 30 days. After that, by Microsoft, it expires. The save function. Once the 30 days are over, the student can continuously go in the environment and practice, but they're not able to use the save function.
Okay. So
yes, and also Gulnaz, yes, there is no restriction to the lab launching. The user can launch the lab modules as many times as they want to practice. So that is not that is not restricted. For some of our labs, like for AZ600, for instance, it uses some extensive resources, and we cannot allow our users to have unlimited access to the lab modules. So we have restricted those lab modules for AZ600 to 3 times. They can launch all the modules 3 times per module. If there are 4 modules, they can launch 4 modules like 3 times.
okay. So there is another question because we are about approaching at the end of this session. So
Okay.
one more question is, where are the Office 365 labs?
Those are the MD labs. MD, for instance, they are the MD100 and MD101 labs, and all the other associated labs. So if that person who is asking this question is an MCT, they already have access to the MD100 and the other associated 365 labs.
And
Let me just drop
whatever
it.
they can, and whatever they cannot see,
Yeah.
please have them reach out to us. We will guide
Yes.
them and make sure that they have full accessibility.
Fine.
Yes, if they are looking at my screen, they can see that the MD100 and the other series of MD labs.
Okay, so a lot of people are asking about the links in the slides they have seen. Mori, can you share those links in this chat panel? Because
Yes.
I am seeing a lot of questions regarding the URLs. So if you can please share in the chat panel.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, we'll place them right now. And also, Osman has the slide deck. More than welcome to have that slide deck, and they can go through the slide deck. And there are many, many links that allows them to get access to many, many resources. That said, I know this 1 hour flew very quickly. There were a lot of questions, but we will be more than happy to have individual sessions where we spend 1 hour and we address all the questions that come up, because I'm sure there'll be other questions. One question I see from my side: how will I get access to manage the classroom as I am not seeing in my screen? So the instructor and administrator can see the classroom. The student obviously have the most limited powers, followed by the instructor, followed by the administrator. That said, if you're not seeing that in your screen, we can help you walk through that.
Okay. So I'm seeing one more question because we have time.
Sure.
So we'll go ahead. Is the CEP subscription a full-fledged Azure subscription or slides subscription for a particular course?
Yes, the Azure subscription is a full resource subscription, like it gives access to the user for whatever the requirement of the lab is, not behind, not other than that. So it is similar to the resources which the users gets from Microsoft for, I guess, for several dollars. They have to purchase those. Like for instance, we have AZ104 lab. Let me show that. Like we have different versions of AZ104 lab or the other labs. If everybody is looking at the screen, they can see that we have a standard lab version for AZ104, which does not have any CEP. So for that case, they have to have their own Azure resources. But for our CEP version, they will have, the possible subscription or the access which they need to perform this lab, not other than that. To meet the requirement of this particular AZ104 course, our CEP will give them the access or the leverage to perform those actions which are needed by the Azure resources or the person who should have the Azure subscription.
Gulnaz, if we can get the questions sent to us, we can definitely provide a longer response to
Yes.
certain ones. Some of the answers are very quick. That said, some of the questions probably deserve a longer explanation for some of the instructors. So we'll be more than happy to address them. We can send them to you and Osman, and then you can send them back, or you can send us the email address for that individual, and we can address them directly with them.
Yeah, we are trying to reach out to as many questions as we can. So
Perfect.
we're trying to,
Okay.
yeah, because this we have limited time, but
Yes.
that's very helpful because the most of the questions have already been answered, and I think yeah, that's sufficient for now. Anything
Okay.
else at the end of this session, Sana, you or Mori can want to address, or anything else you want to demonstrate? I think there are a lot of questions regarding the support as well. Can you explain a few steps regarding the support, how people can come here and
Yeah, so
trying
support
to reach
works.
out to the support? Yeah.
Sure. So a couple of things. One, I noticed that the majority of the classes are focused on Azure. So Azure obviously is the most popular classes being delivered in the Microsoft world. So that's why I see it. There's a lot of questions. So again, we can address those in a longer fashion, longer response. With regards to support, we provide 24/7 support. And what I mean by that is that you don't send an email and then we'll say we'll get back to you when we wake up. It's we actually have 24/7 support for all questions. There's a variety of ways to reach support. There's a chat button on the right-hand side. There's also on the far left-hand side on the bottom, you'll see another button that says support. When reaching out to support, 99% of the comments that usually says the lab doesn't work, but usually because the students are not, and sometimes the instructors are not following the instructions. So what we ask is please provide either a screenshot, like a little more detail so we know how to address, especially if you have a class of 10 people, we need a little more specific information as to what problems they're encountering. But in general, the responses are really very quick. Of course, Monday mornings are always very busy because people are clicking for the first time to the environment, even though we truly recommend to the instructors. And this is something I want to mention, that all instructors are welcome to have a live lab demo with our team. It is free of charge. We provide that MCT, that instructor, with basically half an hour to 45 minutes on how these labs work. I know some of the instructors are probably going to say, but Maury, you know, all the labs are the same. Well, not really. Otherwise, why do we have a Honda? Why do we have a BMW? Why do we have a Toyota? It's because they're different, right? They're all cars. However, the way they work is different. So the labs, you know, because there's more than one lab provider, they truly function in different ways. So I highly advise and recommend that anybody who even if they used xtremelabs 6 months ago, 1 year ago, the tools and features are continuously improving, updating, mainly because we're listening to you as MCTs. We're listening to students saying, can you tweak this? Can you, we have a new idea. So my recommendation is reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to provide you with a live lab demo to get familiar with the environment and the features.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this informative session, Maury and Sana. Usman, would you say something? Then we will close the session.
You have a lot of questions about they want to get the slides. So I guess I'll depend on you, Gulnaz, and
yeah, sure,
also
sure.
And Osman to send them the slides.
Sure. So I think yeah, we have questions, but as we have running the time shortage, so we'll explain as you told us in the separate emails or something like that. So, thank you very much for the session. Thank you. I really thank both of you, and thanks folks who joined this session. And our next session is regarding another lab provider. So I'll request you to please join that session again, because most of the people, they're asking about that. Next sessions are in the continuity of this session. No, it's not like that, because all three sessions are about the different lab providers. So I'll request everyone to join the session to get more information and more understanding and reach. So thank you very much. We are ending the session with plenty of regards to everybody, and we'll see you in the next session. Thank you, Sana. Thank you, Maury, and thank you, audience. Thank you, Usman. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gulnaz.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Take care.